My dear child, I need you to listen to me right now. I am asking you to talk to me in this exact moment. Please do not put this off until later. Do not tell yourself that you will simply come back to this message tomorrow. Do not wait until you feel more ready or more spiritually prepared. Do not wait until your busy daily schedule clears up and you finally have some free time to sit down. I am asking for your absolute attention right now. The clock is softly ticking, and this specific moment in time will not wait for you to finally make up your mind. I want you to know deep in your heart that I am not speaking to you out of fear. I am absolutely not trying to scare you or make you feel anxious about your future. I am speaking to you in complete and absolute truth. Time is a reality that simply does not pause just because you are hesitating. The beautiful opportunities that I lovingly place in front of you do not remain open forever. You have delayed answering my calls before. You have told yourself in the past that you would pray later when things calm down. You have said that you will completely surrender your heavy worries to me later. You have promised that you will obey my voice when your life feels a little more settled and comfortable. But I am telling you right now, with a voice that is both incredibly gentle and very firm, that this is absolutely not a moment for later. This is a crucial moment for right now. I want you to truly feel the deep urgency in my voice as I speak directly to your weary spirit. I do not want you to feel this urgency as a heavy, crushing pressure pushing you down. Instead, I want you to deeply feel it as a profound, overwhelming love that simply refuses to let you miss the beautiful, life-changing things I am currently offering to you. I am calling out to you today because something very real is actively moving in the unseen world all around you. The spiritual atmosphere that constantly surrounds your everyday life is massively shifting right now. There is a door that currently stands wide open right in front of you, but you must completely understand that it will not remain open endlessly. I am calling you with this intense sense of urgency simply because time is moving much faster than you might realize in your daily routine. Sometimes you honestly think that you have endless chances to get everything exactly right. You might strongly believe that the exact same opportunity will just keep continuously circling back to you again and again, no matter how many times you choose to ignore it. But you desperately need to know that some specific doors in life are strictly seasonal. Some divine, heavenly invitations are incredibly sacred, and when those specific doors finally close, they do not ever reopen in the exact same way. My beloved child, if you're sitting here seeing this message and hearing these exact words right now, you absolutely must know that it is not by accident. I have personally arranged this exact second in human history just for you to clearly hear my voice speaking directly to your inner spirit. I clearly saw this exact moment long before you ever did. I knew the specific day, I knew the exact hour, and I knew the very minute that your precious heart would be stirred deeply enough to actually sit still and listen to me. I deliberately orchestrated the quiet pause in your daily routine. I purposely allowed the sudden interruption that brought you directly to this specific message today. I brought you to this very place completely intentionally and with great purpose. Please do not ever dismiss this beautiful encounter as a mere coincidence. I am the creator of the universe, and I simply do not ever operate in random coincidence. I operate entirely in divine purpose and perfect design. You have been constantly asking me for clear clarity in your confused mind. You have been begging me for clear direction for your future steps. You have been asking me to give you a massive sign that you are not walking alone. And now that I am actively answering you and speaking directly to your heart, you have to decide exactly how you are going to respond to me. I am asking you, please do not quickly scroll past this message. Do not treat these heavy words lightly as if they are just another piece of passing internet content meant to briefly entertain you. Do not allow the endless distractions of your phone or your busy life to steal away what I am personally placing right in front of you today. What you decide to do in these next few crucial moments is going to actively shape the entire next season of your life. I am absolutely not saying this as an exaggeration just to catch your attention. This is a deep, profound spiritual reality that you really need to grasp today. The absolute smallest yes from your willing heart can quickly unlock the biggest, most massive shift in your entire life circumstances. In the exact same way, the smallest decision to delay your obedience can easily extend your painful waiting period into the longest season of struggle you have ever known. Time is running out fast, but I say this not to frighten your gentle soul, but to completely and totally awaken your sleeping spirit. I absolutely do not want you to be fast asleep when your much-needed blessing finally comes knocking loudly on your front door. I do not want you to be looking the other way and completely distracted when your biggest breakthrough is standing so incredibly near to you. I do not want you to be totally hesitant and full of crippling doubt when your emotional and physical healing is entirely within your physical reach. There is a specific, beautiful window of opportunity standing wide open for you right now. It is a beautiful, glowing window of heavenly grace. It is a massive window of divine movement in your personal life. It is a window of incredible, life-altering heavenly favor. But you must always remember that windows will eventually close if they are continuously and stubbornly ignored. You have proudly stood right at the threshold of open doors in the past, and you have hesitated because of deep inner fear. You have distinctly felt my gentle, loving nudge in your spirit before, and you still chose to postpone your obedience for a much more convenient day. You have clearly sensed a deep, heavy conviction in your heart before, and you simply said to yourself that you would deal with the difficult issue later on. And as you already know, that later turned out to become much longer and harder than you ever expected it to be. I am actively taking the time to gently remind you of these past hesitations, but please hear my voice clearly right now. I am absolutely not reminding you of these things to bring any sort of crushing shame or guilt upon you. I do not condemn you at all. I am gently reminding you of this personal history simply because I love you with an everlasting, unconditional love. I truly do not want the painful, bitter feeling of regret to be the harsh teacher that finally shows you what your simple obedience could have easily unlocked for you. You have been crying out loudly and praying for a clear sign from heaven. My dear child, this message right here is the exact sign you have been desperately asking for. But you must fully understand that signs from heaven always require a human response. Divine signs are never meant to be mere decorations in your life story. They are profound, heavy invitations demanding your active, willing participation. So please, speak to me right now. Open up the heavy, locked doors of your heart and let my spirit inside. The beautiful door of opportunity is still wide open for you today, but it will not be open forever. When I lovingly tell you these things, I am not threatening you or trying to scare you in any way. I am simply trying to lovingly awaken you from your deep spiritual slumber. There is a massive, incredibly important difference between a threat and an awakening. A dark threat is something that actively seeks to control you through fear and cruel manipulation. A divine awakening is something that actively seeks to lovingly prepare you for the wonderful, amazing things that are rapidly coming your way. I am actively preparing you right now because the very next major step in your life journey absolutely requires your willing participation. So please, talk to me right now in this exact moment. You do not need to come to me with perfectly polished, fancy words. You do not need to recite beautifully rehearsed, religious prayers that you memorized from an old book. I just want you to speak to me with complete, raw, and total honesty. Tell me all about the hard things that you have been secretly avoiding in your daily life. Tell me about the heavy, crushing burdens that you have been far too afraid to fully surrender into my capable hands. Tell me about the specific, painful areas in your life where you feel completely stuck and totally unable to ever move forward again. The absolute truth is, I already know everything about your life, but I still deeply want your willingness to share it all with me. I deeply and passionately desire your active agreement with my perfect plans. I am constantly longing for your complete, total surrender. The clock is gently ticking softly in the background because the current season of your life is actively and rapidly shifting into something completely brand new. The old, tired patterns that have held you back for so long are finally expiring and completely losing their heavy grip on you. The special, temporary grace that I gave you for your long season of delay is quickly beginning to wear thin. The glorious, massive opportunity for real, lasting, permanent change is proudly standing right in front of you today, simply waiting for you to say yes. Please do not ever make the mistake of assuming that this exact same opportunity will patiently wait for you forever. Do not fall into the dangerous trap of assuming that tomorrow will feel exactly the same as today feels. Every single day that you wake up and open your eyes carries its own unique, specific measure of heavenly grace. And the specific, powerful grace that has been assigned for today is loudly calling out your name. The beautiful door that I have carefully opened for you will absolutely not remain propped open until the end of time. It is wide open for you right now in this exact moment simply because your heart happens to be soft enough right now to actually hear my gentle voice. It is open for you right now because the complicated, messy circumstances in your life are finally beginning to align properly. It is open for you right now because the powerful forces of heaven have deliberately made a wide open space for you to finally move forward. But I must gently warn you today, if you choose to turn away from this clear message, if you choose to stubbornly ignore my voice again, if you decide to foolishly delay your obedience just one more time, this perfect, beautiful moment will quietly and totally pass you by. And if it completely passes, you will eventually find yourself sitting all alone, constantly wondering and asking yourself why everything in your life suddenly feels so incredibly heavy once again. If you are truly done with accepting anything less than my perfect, unconditional love for you, I want you to go right now and type the words, "I choose you first, Jesus." My precious, beautiful child, please do not miss what I am actively doing here. Do not ever minimize the massive importance of this specific moment in your timeline. I am absolutely not speaking to you casually as if we are just having a bit of small talk. I am speaking with such intense, heavy passion because your bright, beautiful future is heavily pressing right up against your current present reality. There are totally unimaginable, massive blessings quietly waiting for you right on the other side of your simple, willing obedience. There is a profound, lasting, unbreakable peace patiently waiting for you right on the other side of your complete and total surrender. There is crystal clear, perfect direction waiting for you right on the other side of your honest, vulnerable confession to me. But in order to experience any of these amazing things, you have to be totally willing to actually move your feet. Do not quickly scroll past this video and ignore my desperate plea. Do not actively try to silence that deep, completely unexplainable stirring that you currently feel inside your chest. That gentle, persistent stirring you feel is actually my Holy Spirit softly but firmly knocking on the door of your heart. That slight, annoying feeling of discomfort you are currently experiencing is actually my loving, perfect conviction calling you higher into a much better standard of living. That sudden, intense sense of urgency you feel is simply my perfect, flawless love reaching out to grab your hand right before the open window of opportunity completely closes. Time is rapidly running out fast right now, but please clearly understand that this is not because I have any sort of desire to actively rush you or make you panic. It is simply because human life moves incredibly, painfully quickly. The short days turn into long weeks, the weeks turn into passing months, and before you even know it, the months have turned into many long years. And I absolutely do not want you waking up one random morning, many years from now, living in deep, bitter regret, desperately wishing that you had simply responded to me when my beautiful invitation was so painfully clear. I am generously giving you this exact moment today as a pure act of heavenly mercy. I am lovingly giving you this clear wake-up call as a powerful form of divine protection over your entire future. I am kindly asking you to please deeply respond to me right now. I want you to answer my urgent call, even if your voice is actively trembling with heavy anxiety. I want you to answer me even if you honestly feel like your personal faith is far too small to make any sort of real difference. I want you to boldly respond to me even if you honestly do not know what the entire, complete picture of your future is actually supposed to look like. All I am asking today is that you simply just respond. A very simple, quiet yes from your lips can instantly open up more heavenly doors than you could ever possibly understand or imagine. A very simple, softly whispered prayer can dramatically and permanently shift more circumstances in your daily life than your physical eyes are currently able to see. A very simple, brave act of trusting obedience can properly align more scattered pieces of your ultimate destiny than your human mind can even begin to imagine. The beautiful door of grace is still wide open for you right now. Can you truly sense the heavy truth of that in your inner spirit? The very air surrounding you actively feels remarkably different whenever a massive spiritual door is suddenly opened. There is a sudden, powerful sense of movement in the atmosphere around you. There is a beautiful, glowing feeling of brand new possibility. There is a wide open, completely fresh space that is just patiently waiting to be confidently entered by you today. But you absolutely must constantly remember that open doors are never meant to be permanent fixtures in your life. They are temporary, divine, beautiful invitations asking you to bravely and boldly step through to the other side. You're not sitting here watching this specific video right now by some random, meaningless accident. You are not suddenly hearing my specific, heavy words by some lucky stroke of pure chance. I personally and deliberately arrange for this exact second to magically occur because your precious, beating heart is currently standing directly at a major, life-altering crossroads in your timeline. You have a very clear choice to carefully make today. You can actively choose to just stubbornly continue living exactly as you always have, or you can choose to bravely step forward into something entirely brand new. You can choose to delay your necessary obedience once again, or you can freely choose to passionately respond to my deep love right now. You can quietly choose to stay totally safe and comfortable exactly where you currently are, or you can completely choose to fully surrender your entire life fully into my strong, capable hands. My beloved, precious child, please talk to me right now. The heavy clock of your destiny is steadily and loudly ticking away. The massive door of life-changing opportunity will absolutely not stay propped open for you forever. Time is constantly and relentlessly moving forward, but my special, empowering grace is still beautifully and heavily present for you in this exact moment. Please do not ever let this amazing, rare opportunity quietly close on you. Do not ever make the foolish, dangerous mistake of assuming that another massive opportunity will quickly come along that feels exactly like this specific one does. Speak to me honestly from the very bottom depths of your soul. Open your guarded heart completely and totally to my healing love. Say a loud yes to my gentle, constant leading, while my personal invitation is still being generously extended to you today. I am currently standing right here patiently waiting for your honest, open response. My child, I am urgently asking you to talk to me now. Please do not let this sacred, beautiful moment casually and quickly drift right past you as if it were just an ordinary, boring, everyday occurrence. I firmly promise you that this specific moment is absolutely not ordinary. This beautiful encounter is totally not casual in any way whatsoever. This is absolutely not just another random, slightly inspirational message that just happens to be crossing your busy daily path. This is a deliberate, massive divine interruption completely orchestrated by heaven itself. I am purposefully and powerfully stepping right into your exact present reality with a great, heavy sense of urgency simply because something incredibly critical is currently unfolding all around you, and you simply cannot ever afford to remain passive any longer. You absolutely cannot afford to just politely listen to these heavy words and then quickly move on with the rest of your normal day. This specific, heavy moment in your timeline aggressively demands a real, lasting response. I want you to deeply feel the heavy seriousness in my voice today. Please completely know that I am not speaking loudly to you because I want to cruelly frighten you. I am speaking very clearly and loudly to you because I desperately want to permanently awaken you. There are many normal moments in your daily life that are meant to be gentle, slow, and very gradual. But then there are completely other massive moments that serve as giant turning points in your personal history. You are currently standing right in the absolute middle of a major, life-altering turning point. You might honestly not be able to fully see the complete, final picture of your life just yet. You might not fully understand exactly why your inner spirit feels so incredibly and deeply stirred right now. But I am the absolute only one who clearly sees everything that is currently lying ahead of you on your hidden path. I can perfectly and clearly see the difficult, confusing crossroads rapidly approaching you. I can fully see the heavy, massive decisions that are currently and actively forming in your very near future. And simply because I love you so much, I totally refuse to allow you to blindly step forward without first violently and loudly calling for your absolute attention. This specific, massive moment in time was divinely and perfectly appointed just for you. It was carefully and permanently marked on heaven's calendar long ago. It was completely and totally known by me long before you ever reached this particular, incredibly important day. I do not randomly interrupt your busy life without a very good, solid reason. I do not forcefully press this kind of heavy, deep urgency upon your heart without a very specific, totally loving purpose. The entire kingdom of heaven is deliberately and forcefully initiating this direct, personal contact with you right now because the very next major step in your life journey is incredibly close. It is very, very close to finally happening. And the exact way that you freely choose to completely respond right now in this exact moment is going to directly and permanently determine exactly how that massive next step will unfold for you. This crucial, heavy decision absolutely cannot be delayed any further. I am absolutely not saying this because I am an impatient, angry God who is rushing you. I am saying this purely because correct divine timing matters far more than you could ever know. You have foolishly chosen to deeply delay my instructions before in the past. You have painfully felt the heavy weight of my conviction, and you have chosen to quickly and quietly silence it. You have clearly sensed my gentle, pushing nudge driving you forward, and you have deliberately decided to completely postpone taking any real action. You have told yourself time and time again, I will just simply pray about this later. You have constantly promised yourself, I will completely and totally change my ways later. You have repeatedly said, I will finally surrender absolutely everything to God when my crazy life circumstances finally calm down a bit. But I absolutely must tell you today, with a heart totally full of deep, endless love and unyielding firmness, that the foolish concept of later is simply not promised to ever carry the exact same heavy grace that the beautiful concept of right now currently holds. There are very specific spiritual windows that temporarily open up for very specific, divine reasons. There are beautiful, long seasons of life that begin to naturally and slowly shift exactly when the perfect time is finally right. And when that perfect, divinely appointed moment finally and suddenly arrives at your doorstep, any form of fear or hesitation can easily and quickly cost you far more than you could ever possibly realize. So please, I am begging you to gently talk to me right now. Do not just silently talk to me inside your own busy head while you are simultaneously and quickly planning out your very next earthly distraction. Do not try to randomly talk to me while you are only halfway listening to my voice and halfway doubting that I am even really here at all. I want you to deeply engage with me fully, completely, clearly, and intentionally. This entire, massive message is not merely about passively giving you some brand new spiritual information. This deep message is entirely and completely about getting your heart into total, proper alignment with my perfect, flawless will. It is simply never, ever enough to just hear my voice speaking to you. You are absolutely required to actually answer my voice when I loudly call out your specific name. There is an incredibly critical, massive turning point rapidly and aggressively approaching your life. This major turning point might look like a simple, normal, everyday conversation with a close friend. It might actively look like a brand new, massive job opportunity suddenly opening up for you. It might completely look like a very difficult, heavy decision that you have been actively and purposely avoiding for a very long time. But absolutely no matter what it ultimately looks like, it is very, very near to you right now. And your precious, beating heart absolutely must be properly and completely aligned with my Holy Spirit before that massive moment finally arrives. That is the exact, specific reason why I am urgently speaking to you with such an intense, heavy level of deep urgency today. That is the exact reason why your chest currently feels so painfully tight with a sudden, unexplainable spiritual awareness. That deep, heavy awareness is the exact, simple reason why you're busy, racing mind keeps constantly and repeatedly returning to these specific words over and over again. Please fully understand that this is a divine, massive, heavenly interruption. I am purposefully and loudly interrupting your completely comfortable daily routine right now so that your ultimate, beautiful, final destiny is not tragically and painfully interrupted later on down the hard road. I am intentionally and forcefully interrupting your cozy personal comfort zone today so that your highest, greatest calling in life is not unnecessarily and foolishly delayed yet again. I am boldly and loudly interrupting your endless, noisy sea of daily distraction, simply because the amazing, massive things that are currently and actively forming in the unseen spiritual realm simply cannot afford to sit around and patiently wait for your personal convenience. I am begging you, please do not ever treat this divine encounter as just another random moment of passive, lazy, sleepy listening. Passive listening has never, ever permanently changed absolutely anything in anyone's entire life. It is your totally active, willing agreement with my solid truth that actually and permanently changes things. It is your completely willing, joyful, total obedience that actively and aggressively changes things. It is your total, unconditional, complete surrender that permanently and beautifully changes things. You simply cannot ever afford to remain completely and totally neutral in powerful, heavy moments exactly like this one. Choosing deep neutrality will only ever forcefully keep you exactly where you already are. It is your totally active, honest, brave response that will finally and permanently propel you forward into your brand new, beautiful season. My beautiful, precious child, please truly hear me when I clearly say that I am absolutely not demanding absolute perfection from you. I am only asking for your complete, total, and raw honesty today. I want you to bravely speak to me right now about that deep, dark, heavy fear that you have been so desperately and quietly hiding from the rest of the world. I want you to clearly speak to me about that massive, looming, scary decision that you have been so absolutely terrified to finally make. I want you to openly speak to me about that specific, toxic, draining relationship that you already know deep down absolutely needs to completely change. I want you to softly speak to me about that hidden, completely destructive habit that has been forcefully holding you back from your true, highest potential for so very long. The absolute reality is that you already clearly know exactly what specific things I am directly referring to right now. That is the very simple reason why your highly sensitive heart currently feels so incredibly exposed and totally vulnerable in this exact moment. Please completely know that I am absolutely not exposing these hidden, dark things to bring any sort of crushing, heavy shame into your daily life. I am gently and lovingly exposing the broken things that have been quietly hidden in the darkness, so that those very same things do not end up completely and totally sabotaging your beautiful, upcoming next season. The massive, life-changing turning point that is quietly lying just ahead of you on your path absolutely requires absolute, total mental clarity. It heavily requires a tremendous, massive amount of deep inner courage. It totally requires absolute freedom from all of the invisible, heavy chains that have quietly and painfully held you hostage for so many long years. If you foolishly attempt to walk right into this brand new, open season while actively remaining completely unchanged, I firmly promise you that you will struggle deeply and painfully. But if you bravely choose to clearly respond to me right now in this exact moment, you will confidently and boldly step right into that brand new season fully prepared, fully healed, and completely victorious. The entire massive kingdom of heaven is actively and aggressively initiating this direct, heavy contact with your spirit today simply because you simply matter far too much to me to ever be left completely unaware of what is rapidly coming. I can vividly and clearly see the intense, heavy emotional pressure that has been slowly and painfully building up all around you. I have clearly and completely seen all of the incredibly subtle, tiny shifts constantly taking place in your daily circumstances. I can plainly and fully see the heavy, massive, life-altering decision that is rapidly and quickly forming right in front of your very eyes. And simply because I love you so incredibly much, I absolutely refuse to sit back and be silent about it. I am desperately and loudly calling out to you right before that massive moment fully arrives at your front door. This specific, divinely appointed moment absolutely cannot be delayed any longer simply because your heart happens to be just open enough right now to finally and clearly hear my gentle voice. Please do not ever make the foolish, dangerous assumption that my loving voice will continue to feel this crystal clear to you tomorrow morning. Do not make the incredibly dangerous assumption that this exact same deep, heavy level of conviction will quietly remain just as strong and powerful in your heart a full week from now. Whenever I deliberately choose to deeply stir your inner spirit with this kind of intense, heavy urgency, it is only because my special, empowering grace is heavily and deeply present right now to forcefully give you the strength to take immediate, bold action. So please, I deeply urge you, fully talk to me right now. I want you to talk to me even if your shaky voice is actively trembling with deep fear. I want you to talk to me even if the absolute only words you can currently find feel incredibly simple, small, and totally basic. Just simply open your physical mouth and say, "Lord, I deeply hear you speaking to me today." Just bravely say to me, "Lord, please kindly help me to quickly respond to your clear call." Just softly say to me, "Lord, I am completely and fully surrendering this heavy, crushing burden completely over to you right now." I absolutely do not want you to needlessly overcomplicate this beautiful process in your busy mind. True, massive, life-changing obedience is very often incredibly simple, yet completely and utterly powerful in its final effect. I deeply need to remind you once again today that you are absolutely not sitting here right now by any sort of accident. You are totally not reading or passively listening to these specific words purely randomly. I personally and deliberately arrange for this exact, specific moment to take place simply because the dark, heavy shadow of delay has quietly followed you around for far too long enough. You have painfully and endlessly circled around this exact same massive mountain of struggle far more than once in your earthly lifetime. You have been harshly forced to totally face this exact same incredibly difficult lesson far more than one simple time. And I absolutely do not ever want to see you endlessly repeating the painful, broken cycle that you have already completely and spiritually outgrown. This right here is a massively decisive, permanent moment in your entire timeline. The deep, heavy urgency that you are currently and actively feeling inside your soul is absolutely not a dark form of pressure from me trying to forcefully control your daily life. This deep urgency is simply my perfect, unconditional, endless love, absolutely refusing to let you completely miss out on your perfect, flawless divine timing. I would honestly much rather completely disturb your temporary earthly comfort today than have to painfully sit back and helplessly watch you tragically lose out on your greatest heavenly opportunity tomorrow. My precious, beautiful child, you simply cannot afford to completely sleep your way through this specific heavy moment. You absolutely cannot afford to just carelessly and quickly scroll right past this important message. You cannot ever treat my direct, loud voice as if it were just some totally meaningless background noise in your busy day. The entire incredibly beautiful next season of your life is actively pressing its full, heavy weight right up against this very specific moment in time. Whatever you bravely choose to do right now is going to powerfully and permanently echo forward into your entire future timeline. The clock is steadily and loudly ticking away simply because human life constantly and endlessly moves forward. The various seasons of life are always quietly changing and totally shifting. Large doors of opportunity will constantly and repeatedly open up and then quietly, totally close. But my special, incredibly empowering grace is fully, completely here for you right now. Perfect mental and complete spiritual clarity is completely and totally here for you right now. Deep, life-changing, massive conviction is heavily and beautifully present right now. That is the exact, specific reason why I am urgently and loudly saying to you, please fully talk to me right now. I completely do not want you to simply feel a temporary, passing wave of emotion and then quickly and quietly move on with your completely unchanged daily life. That exact, lazy pattern is exactly how massive, life-altering opportunities quietly close right in front of you. That negative pattern is exactly how incredibly painful seasons of struggle are unnecessarily and tragically extended for many long years. That exact, tragic pattern is exactly how the bitter, heavy seed of deep regret begins to slowly and painfully grow inside your beating heart. I am desperately and loudly calling out to you today simply because I deeply desire a true, permanent spiritual alignment from you, not just a fleeting, totally temporary emotional feeling. I am desperately looking for a genuine, completely lasting response from your inner spirit, not just a totally temporary, quick knee-jerk reaction. You are currently and actively standing right at the very absolute edge of a massive, life-changing spiritual threshold. From the completely outside looking in, your normal life might not actively look very dramatic or totally different to anyone else right now. But internally, completely inside your deepest soul, this exact moment is incredibly and vastly significant. The exact, specific way that you bravely choose to totally answer me in this very specific moment is going to directly and permanently shape the exact level of peace that you will fully carry with you into absolutely whatever is coming next. The entire massive, beautiful kingdom of heaven has practically leaned in completely close just to carefully listen to you. I am actively speaking directly and completely to your spirit today. This is absolutely not a distant, faraway, confusing message. This is totally not some vague, weird, generalized word for the giant masses. This is highly, deeply personal and completely meant specifically for you and only you. So please, bravely talk to me right now. Do not totally wait until later. Do not wait until your complicated life feels a little bit easier. Do not quietly wait until it feels slightly more convenient for your very busy schedule. I deeply want you to completely respond to me now simply because this exact, specific moment was divinely and perfectly appointed just for you. You must completely respond now simply because the massive, incredible turning point is standing so very, very near. You must actively respond now simply because endlessly continuing to totally delay your required obedience is simply no longer a safe or viable option for you. You must permanently respond now simply because I actively love you far too incredibly much to ever sit back and just let you miss out on this. So please, I beg you, just completely respond. My precious child, whenever I gently tell you that the clock is steadily and loudly ticking, I desperately want you to fully know that I am absolutely not speaking about the tragic and of your physical life on this earth. I am completely not standing here, actively trying to cruelly frighten your sensitive heart with any sort of dark thoughts of impending death or sudden disaster. When I actively mention the ticking clock, I am strictly and entirely speaking about the profound reality of perfect, flawless divine timing. I am actively speaking about the very specific, temporary seasons in life that simply do not ever last forever. I am clearly and loudly speaking about the spiritual, massive windows of opportunity that magically open up for a very specific divine purpose, and then gently, quietly close when their appointed, perfect time has fully and completely passed. Please completely understand that time itself is absolutely not your actual enemy, but time is certainly not an endless, infinite resource for you to endlessly waste either. There's a very specific, totally beautiful rhythm to absolutely all of my perfect, flawless plans for your entire life. There's a completely divinely appointed, specific hour designated for absolutely every single movement you ever make. And when that exact, divinely appointed hour finally and totally arrives, any sort of fear or hesitation on your part can dramatically and permanently shift your entire spiritual alignment. You absolutely must completely understand this heavy concept with total, perfect clarity today. Every single passing season of life deeply carries its own very specific, unique type of grace. For example, there is a very special, quiet grace freely given to help you deeply prepare. There is a totally different, specific kind of grace gently given to fully help you wait completely patiently. There's a very quiet, slow grace beautifully given to actively help you slowly build your complicated life completely in the background. But there's also a very powerful, highly active, massive grace fully given specifically to quickly help you take immediate, bold action. When the specific, heavy grace to take massive action finally and totally arrives at your front door. It simply will not ever wait around forever for you to finally feel perfectly and totally comfortable. That active, pushing grace will absolutely not stretch itself out endlessly just to patiently accommodate your personal, deep fears and quiet insecurities. The heavy clock is ticking softly simply because your brand new, beautiful season of active, bold response has officially and completely begun today. You have already fully lived through many incredibly long, extremely difficult seasons of very painful delay. You have completely and bravely walked through those totally lonely times when absolutely nothing in your life seemed to be moving forward. During those incredibly difficult, heavy moments of delay, you successfully and bravely learned the deep, lasting value of true biblical patience. In those totally quiet, incredibly painful moments, your inner spirit was massively and permanently strengthened for the long journey ahead. But I deeply need you to clearly hear me right now. You are absolutely no longer living in a season of endless waiting. The waiting room is officially, permanently closed. You are now proudly and boldly standing right in the absolute middle of a totally powerful, massive season of active response. And you must fully know that totally active seasons of response are incredibly time-sensitive by their very core nature. These totally active seasons heavily require a massive, high level of deep spiritual awareness. They heavily require a massive, deep amount of true inner courage. They totally require actual, real physical movement completely on your part. Whenever I totally and loudly call out your specific name, whenever I strongly tell you that time is rapidly and totally running out, what I am really completely saying is that the massive window of heavenly, beautiful opportunity is totally wide open for you right now in this exact second. But it will absolutely not remain wide open in this exact same, perfect way when tomorrow morning finally comes. Divine, massive opportunities are absolutely never just totally random, accidental events that simply happen to lucky, random people. They are completely and beautifully orchestrated divine alignments. They are the exact, completely perfect moments when your incredibly long season of incredibly hard preparation finally and beautifully collides with my absolutely perfect, totally heavenly timing. They are the beautifully sacred intersections where the deep reality of perfect heaven and the messy reality of earth completely meet together in perfect, beautiful agreement. And you must entirely understand that those totally divine intersections are incredibly, vastly precise in their specific timing. If you foolishly try to wildly arrive at that beautiful intersection way too early, you will be heavily forced to sadly sit and painfully wait. But if you sadly arrive at that perfect intersection way too totally late, you will be heavily forced to sadly go absolutely all the way back and painfully circle the exact same totally painful mountain once again. My heavily beloved, entirely precious child, I absolutely do not ever want to sadly see you painfully circling that completely painful mountain absolutely ever again. There have already totally been far too incredibly many painful moments in your messy past history when you foolishly chose to sadly hesitate right at the open door. You clearly and deeply felt my totally gentle spirit loudly leading you completely forward, but your totally heavy inner fear very quickly convinced you to sadly hit the pause button. You totally and strongly sensed my very clear, beautiful direction for your future life, but your totally heavy, dark doubts very quickly persuaded you to just simply wait a little bit totally longer. And what exactly totally happened when you foolishly chose to simply wait? The very beautiful, massive opportunity very quietly and quickly shifted entirely away. The totally perfect, crystal clear mental clarity very quickly totally faded into messy confusion. The beautifully open, perfect door suddenly and totally felt incredibly heavy and completely impossible to safely walk through. Please totally know that sadly losing out on those beautiful moments was absolutely not any form of harsh punishment completely from me. That was simply the solid reality of perfect divine timing actively moving entirely forward completely without your willing, happy agreement. But today is entirely, completely different. Today is your brand new, beautifully perfect day of complete salvation and totally bold, massive action. I am actively standing right totally here with my completely loving arms totally wide open, happily inviting you to safely leave absolutely all of your messy past hesitations completely behind you totally forever. I am loudly asking you to totally and boldly step completely into the totally bright, wonderfully beautiful future that I have so very carefully totally prepared entirely just for you. The totally heavy, painful chains of your messy past are finally entirely breaking totally off of you right totally now. The totally dark, messy fog of deep, heavy confusion is finally completely lifting totally from your busy mind right absolutely now. The completely incredible, entirely life-changing power of my totally perfect Holy Spirit is actively, totally flooding your entire beautiful soul right absolutely now. Please, totally do not ever let this beautifully sacred, totally perfect moment quickly pass you totally by. Do not sadly look totally backwards at your completely old life absolutely anymore. Look totally straight ahead deeply into my completely loving eyes and very firmly totally take solid hold of my completely outstretched hand. The clock is loudly ticking, the door is beautifully wide open, and your completely beautiful, brand new season is proudly and totally calling out your specific name. Speak totally to me right absolutely now. Surrender absolutely everything completely to me right absolutely now. Say your absolutely totally loudest entirely yes completely to me right absolutely now. And totally faithfully carefully watch as I completely begin to absolutely transform every single totally completely detail of your entirely complete whole life. I deeply totally love you entirely with an absolutely everlasting totally love. And I am safely totally waiting right completely here entirely for you. Talk totally to me right absolutely completely now.